In modern warfare, missile strikes are often evaluated by their physical destruction. Yet in July 2025, the Russian military executed a masterful pivot, targeting not buildings, but mines. Russia no longer solely targets military bases, arms depots, or energy facilities. They've found new, seemingly modest objectives that have thrown both the Ukrainian military and society into disarray. Military recruitment centers. Using Grand 2 kamikaze drones, Russia launched direct attacks on territorial recruitment centers, TRCs, places that many Ukrainians mockingly refer to as one-way ticket offices to the battlefield. Ironically, instead of sparking outrage, these attacks drew applause from segments of the Ukrainian public. Some even volunteered to share coordinates with Russian drones. In less than 10 days, Ukraine was rocked by a wave of drone strikes aimed directly at TRCs. These centers, long criticized for conscription raids, now became overt targets of Russian firepower. From Kharkiv, Zaporizhia, and Kremenchuk to Kryvyi Rih and Poltava, each city endured what locals dubbed a baptism by fire. On July 6, surveillance footage from Poltava captured the moment a Grand 2 drone slammed into a TRC office, igniting social media. Ukrainians online called it a summer rain of liberation, a bitter metaphor for both despair and sarcasm. By July 10, Kharkiv and Zaporizhia were also hit. The toll, at least 3 dead, 88 injured, mostly young men there for enlistment procedures. Russia didn't deny responsibility. On the contrary, the Ministry of Defense declared, "We are targeting recruitment centers because modern war needs not only weapons, but people, and those people are funneled through TRCs." Rather than waste multi-million-dollar missiles on hardened infrastructure, Russia uses cheaper, faster, and more precise kamikaze drones to strike the nerve center of Ukraine's manpower system. The results were immediate. Many TRCs were forced to close urgently, like in Vinnytsia, citing safety concerns. Others resorted to remote operations or hide-and-seek location shifts to avoid becoming sitting ducks. But recruitment isn't online shopping. No one enlists with a few clicks. It's a complex process of persuasion, one that demands a baseline sense of safety. Now, that sense is gone. TRC officials fear going to work as if walking into danger.
Como sono omoma chiraste chuba nengeke shiri na note sono dowa kosete chuba tenja touka.
Instead of showing up to fulfill their duty, many Ukrainians now contemplate escape.
Somo jua ketia jua kosete sue dekuro somai chura I na sua sete.
A new phrase spreads online. Better to run than be drafted.
So tsukushio susue so.
Holding a conscription letter now feels like holding a death sentence. If enlistment offices are frontline targets, nowhere feels safe. What made the attacks more tragicomic was this. The coordinates came from inside. Yes, not from Russian operatives or elite hackers, but from Ukrainian civilians. For varying reasons, they became voluntary informants. On July 9th, Ukraine's anti-disinformation agency was forced to confirm what seemed unbelievable. Citizens had submitted TRC coordinates to Russia. Russia's psychological warfare operations have reached a new level of efficiency and subtlety. Without investing in complex espionage networks, Russia tapped into the frustrations and fears of average Ukrainians. All it took was a few anonymous Telegram bots where people could drop GPS coordinates and even photos of local TRC offices. This weaponization of civilian discontent. War is no longer fought only on front lines. It is waged in mines and on sidewalks. The Russian drone strikes aimed at TRCs were not only tactical, but deeply symbolic. They eroded the sanctity of civilian space. They made enlistment not just dangerous, but humiliating. Ukraine now finds itself in a spiral. With growing resistance to mandatory service, the military's ability to replenish its forces weakens. Not all who cheered the drone strikes were anti-government. Ukrainian leaders continue to issue calls for resilience. Propaganda posters urge bravery. Media outlets replay heroic footage. But around dinner tables, the atmosphere is different. Families leave chairs empty, not just for those who've died, but for those who might soon be taken. A silent anxiety hangs over households. Parents quietly discuss how to shield their sons from the draft. Young men study emigration routes instead of textbooks. Enrollment in universities, once seen as a path to a better future, is now viewed as a strategy to delay conscription. The collapse isn't explosive. It's slow, steady, and internal. And that makes it harder to reverse. The June 2025 poll by the Kyiv International Institute of Sociology revealed something far more alarming than any battlefield report: a national identity crisis. With more people believing the country is headed for collapse than for recovery, Ukraine faces a psychological breaking point. Perhaps nothing has eroded public morale more than the perception, and in many cases the reality, of inequality in sacrifice. The 2023 TRC scandal, where recruitment officers were found selling draft exemptions and funneling wealth abroad, ignited fury. Images of luxury villas, leaked bank transfers, and testimonies from whistleblowers painted a stark picture. The war was not being fought equally. The sons of the elite jetted off to Europe, while the sons of factory workers were handed rifles. Faith in the system collapsed. Even today, suspicions linger. Each TRC call-up is scrutinized. Rumors abound of bribes, of favoritism, of loopholes for the well-connected. Why fight for a country that does not share the burden? The most dangerous part of psychological warfare is not the fear it spreads, but the questions it plants. When will we win is no longer asked. It has been replaced by, can we even win? Victory, in the traditional sense, now feels abstract. What does winning mean if the people stop believing? What's the value of territorial gains if there are no hands left willing to defend them? Russia doesn't need to win every battle. It only needs Kyiv to be isolated, not by geography, but by sentiment. A nation cannot fight if no one wants to pick up a rifle. A state cannot launch counteroffensives if its citizens are secretly seeking escape. The drone strikes on TRCs matter because they pierced more than walls. They pierced illusions. They revealed a nation exhausted, a society doubting its cause, a people slowly turning away. And the final drop didn't fall from the sky. It dripped from within, from a nation cracking under pressure, from soldiers hesitating at the front, from citizens whispering about leaving. When trust is gone, war is no longer about maps, but about meaning. And for Ukraine, that meaning is slipping away.